can also discuss about the Mars village, but this is a different topic. We want to break a little bit this permanent discussion. We want also to break the idea of just saying, okay, there is one nation doing something. We want to break the idea of something what we are doing in space is always a mission, a project, a program. This was the way the idea of the Moon Village was defined. And therefore, because I do not have a better name, I call it an open concept. Open concept means, and I can explain it better by what it is not than by what it is, because people do not understand me, unfortunately. So an open concept is not one single project or a series of single projects well defined at the beginning. An open concept is not an end-to-end definition. An open concept is not an over-regulated system. So an open concept is also not a restricted number of partners. So you see, an open concept seems to be something very strange and very special. And the idea with the Moon Village is the analogy of a village on Earth. Again, I have to explain what my analogy is. Normally, if you look to the Earth, if there is a village created, it is that some humans have an idea and say, okay, this is a nice place, let's settle down, let's stay here, it's nice, using whatever the resources are, and so on and so on. Now I copy this idea into space. I forget about the word of settlement, because humans should not think to settle on Mars or Moon, because our Earth is much too pretty, much too nice to leave it for permanent stay. I don't want to live in a can on any planet or moon. If we find in the future an habitable planet far away, and if we can, with better technology, reach this planet in a reasonable time, then it's a totally different story. Sometimes it's compared with the trip above over the Atlantic Ocean to the United States of America. At that time, not the United States, of course. But this was different. People were going there in order to find a better place. If we go to Moon or Mars, we know that we do not find a better place. So there is some other reasoning behind it. The reasoning is technology, inspiration, pioneering, inspiration. It also is a question of technology development and science. And as it is very hard to go to Mars as the next step, and this is just, again, a very simple logic. To go to Mars and back, it takes about 2 years. Now we can discuss whether you can do it in 22 months or whether it takes 26 months, but something like 2 years. And within this period, you have no possibility to go home faster. So the idea of, okay, we have a problem, Houston, we have a problem, we go home as soon as possible, is not possible if you go to Mars. And that means also from a health perspective. If you are already 2 months on your trip and you discover a serious health problem, which always can happen, then you may have even a smaller surgery you do yourself or with your colleague. But if it's a serious health issue, you cannot do something. And therefore, I believe until we do not have better technology, we should not travel with humans to Mars, and also not make a one-way trip offer, because a one-way trip offer, I really say it's from a moral point of view, it is a Big Brother show with everything, even with dying, and I don't like that idea to let people just living in a can. And therefore, this open concept of a Moon Village was developed. It is, again, it's an open concept. It has no intellectual property rights. It is not that ESA is saying this is our village, not at all. It is open, and this makes some people puzzled, because that cannot be. We always did it the same way. Why is he now proposing something totally different? So my idea is that whoever is interested should go to the moon, whether he or she has the possibility with some means, with a launcher, or whether he or she needs others to move him or her there. And when I say him or her, I mean not only the person, but also scientific payloads, or also any other astronauts or also technological things. On the moon, there are a lot of interesting questions. So, for instance, moon science. The moon was developed most probably by an impact with a body with the planet Earth. So, and the moon has no flora, no fauna, so it's a perfect archive of the history of Earth. So therefore, we should use moon science to discover the Earth. The other aspect is, if you go to the far side of the moon, you are in the shadow of the moon, so you do not have the radiation which we have here on Earth with all our mobile phones and everything, radio, television, etc. So you have a very clean, radio clean situation, and you can have with a observatory, a radio telescope, which you build using the moon stuff, you can have a deep view into the universe. And therefore, what we have here in Australia, the square kilometer array, the telescope, this idea, if you move it to the moon, to the far side of the moon, it's even better. You do not have any disturbance by radio waves, by atmosphere, etc. And of course, you should use the material of the moon. Meaning we are not moving, the idea is not to moving all the stuff to the moon, but to use the stuff what we have over there, the regolith, the material of the moon, and we can, with 3D printing, we can make great things. So it's about science, it's about technology development, also to learn how to use material from a planet, from a moon, in future space missions. It is also to learn about, for instance, how to build a habitat. Again, not for permanent settlement of humans for decades or whatever. They should stay there for some time. This is clear, but not so long. And by the way, the moon, if you are going on just a simple place on the moon, you know how long one day is and how long one night is. Very long and very dark. So it's not that funny to stay there for a longer period. What can be done is, as I said, science, technology development. We can learn about logistics. We can learn about how to use the material over there. Important for me, it is not a preset definition, humans or whatever, or even I was asked right now after the plenary, some person came, but you have to decide who is where, here is that country, here is that country, here is that. So I already saw the fences around it. We have some tradition in Germany with fences and walls. No, this is not the way how we think about it. It should be an open environment. Just the interfaces between the different entities can be defined if necessary. So each and everyone is invited to participate. We will have tomorrow a jam session about the Moon Village, where we also collecting signatures for declaration of interest. Because for us it's important that we see who is interested, and ESA is ready, only ready, not forcing it, ready to play the role of a broker, meaning if one institution would like to have a special payload on the moon, another one is saying, but we can provide the transportation, the lander, and a third one is providing the transportation to the moon environment. So we are ready to play the role of a broker without asking for the leadership of that. So I'm not looking for any mayor, Lord Mayor or president or whatever of the Moon Village. The idea is really an open architecture with only very limited definition, which is not to pollute the moon, not to destroy or be harmful to the other participants. So we discussed in this plenary also about Mars. Again, Mars is also an interesting goal, this interesting destination. It is not the ultimate destination, because I hope that humans will be so smart in the future that they can travel even farther into the universe. But all of this is done also by respecting the beauty of our Earth. And it's clear by exploration, we always learn also about the Earth. So for instance, the exploration, the missions towards Venus, was discovering the climate change, the greenhouse effect, which is very strong on Venus, and then it was also discovered on Earth. So there is a clear way forward. I'm always asked when is the starting point, and there was a right comment from our Russian colleague saying we are already on the way, because several entities are now having clear plans and producing also already the material. For instance, also the United States of America with the new SLS system. This will go cislunar, so it's a perfect position to land also on the moon. With Russia, we have a project from the European Space Agency, what is called Lunar Resource. It's a lander. So there are, and China has a mission, and other countries as well. So it is already more or less a reality. The plan, there is no overarching plan, but the idea to go there jointly is there, and we are, as I said, we are now collecting all these documents of interest, and it's interesting that we get that from very different entities, small private entities, big public entities, individuals. So, for instance, also Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon, signed up, is interesting. He has also some companies. So it is working. It is very successful, and I'm very happy that this international challenge is now more or less reality. And this international character is very important, because if you look from space to Earth, you do not see any border. It's a borderless Earth. And unfortunately, it's not borderless. So therefore, for me, it's very important that we do not copy what is done on the surface of Earth with all the borders and the crises. Space is a perfect place to work together, as the past has shown, regardless of earthly crisis. Okay. Now, I'm ready. If you have any type of question, I'm ready to answer.
You said you didn't want to put a time frame around it.
Right.
Realistically, if people work together and collaborated, what's a realistic?
Okay. If you just, I give the question back. If you and this person and this lady and this, if you decide I build a village, would you come up with a plan for the next 200 years? No. You would say, okay, let's start. You see, the starting point is there. The starting point is latest in 2018. The first missions under this umbrella or the roof of a moon village will be launched. This is clear. But there is no plan when will the first electric power station be on the moon, or when will we the first use the hydrogen out of the water over there to do some. This is open. So there is no, that's the difference to a project, to a mission. It's a concept. It's an open concept. Please.
Why did you feel it was necessary to put this concept out?
Why I did it?
Yeah.
Why not? You see, that's the difference in life. There are always people asking why are doing something, and I'm always saying, why not doing something? This is my personal, really my personal dedication. I try to give just ideas. Saint-Exupéry said you should not foresee the future, you should make it possible. And this is exactly the thing. I mean, we need ideas. And not to put it out would lose a chance. And now as we put it on the table, it's already on the table since 2 years or something like that, it finds more and more friends. So it was, obviously, it was an idea which found now some interest, and therefore it was right to put. And I would also put ideas on the table if nobody is interested in, just to start a project, to start a thinking or so. So I think we need ideas, and we need also to accept that some ideas are not realized. Better to have out of 10 ideas only one realized than none, not any one mentioned.
I guess what I meant is, what is the advantage to have a concept like this out, since it is unstructured and, it's not like you can apply for a grant or something. I mean, how will you assess if this is a...
Okay, usually I start my presentation about that, explaining what for me Space 4.0 is. I have Space 1.0 is astronomy, Space 2.0 is a race in space, Space 3.0 is where we are right now, with some international activities like the International Space Station and some bilateral collaboration, and also more applications. And Space 4.0 is really a shift of paradigm. Much more actors. We have more than 70 spacefaring nations worldwide, plus many industrial entities or entrepreneurs or startup companies now being active without the space agencies going into space. So, and also participation of people is a totally new world. And this new world needs also new ideas how to do space, not only with the old type of projects and missions and all of this set in a clear frame. Even the ISS has a clear frame. So the idea of the Moon Village is broader than that. It offers each and everyone the opportunity to do something what he or she would like to do. And there is another method which I am trying to promote. I call that shareholder projects, where you can sign up for a project with financial means, and then somebody has to play the role of the equity manager. That can be a space agency. We would be ready for that. It's also, you ask, why do you do that? I think this is another opportunity to do space also with countries or with entities which cannot afford a full project at once. And this fits together, shareholder projects and open concept. So you can fill the open concept, for instance, also with shareholder projects. So I'm trying to get new ideas for space into the world.
If you were to build it near the South Pole where you spoke about this morning, would you be able to see it from Earth?
Again?
Would you be able to see it from Earth, or is it on the other side of the moon?
You mean the far side, which is often called the dark side. It's not as dark as one believes. It's as bright. You see, again, you are asking me something. I should make a drawing where it is, and that. I'm just telling you, this would be against my original idea. I think it will be start at the South Pole, because the South Pole has water. The South Pole has areas where you have permanent light. The South Pole has also areas where you have permanent shadow, which is also good from a radiation point of view. So therefore, I expect that the first missions will go there, but. The idea is that it's not really located only here. This is the border of the village. This is not the idea. So it should be, if somebody says, okay, I go farther away, but I would like to have a link, for instance, for data communication to the Earth, I would be 100 kilometers far away, but I want to use the infrastructure. Why not? So, but I expect that the first missions will go very close to the South Pole, because there are several missions announced. Further questions?
So, traditionally a village
yes.
has an impetus. It's built on a crossroad, it's built next to a coal mine, built next to a bridge.
Yes.
Is that what you see as South?
Usually the bridge is built close to the village, I would say. But anyhow.
It's still, because they can charge a toll.
Yeah. Yeah, in this case, it is the location is the moon, because the moon has some very interesting and inspiring possibilities, and it is the best place for a springboard. It has a lower gravity than the Earth, and we can there also test, for instance, 3D printing and all of this really remotely. So therefore, the moon is, so to say, the analogous, which has a river, because we have water over there. It has material which we can use, and so on. So it is maybe not to overstress the analogy to a village, but it has something to bring, something to offer, and this can be used.
Is this to try and refocus attention on the moon, given how much attention the Mars project has been given, and how difficult the Mars project is proving to be to bring it back to a more...
I proposed this moon village concept already when there was still, everybody was saying let's go to Mars. Now even Elon Musk, who first said let's go to Mars, he is now saying, okay, wait a bit, first let's go to the moon. That's I think he is right. Jeff Bezos is talking about a moon city. Of course, America is always a little bit bigger than what the Europeans are offering. NASA is thinking about, there's a nice picture showing that they are ready to build the infrastructure, the roads. Okay, they have the highways. I mean, I hope no speed limit. That would be my personal wish. As a German, we have no speed limit, so there should be no speed limit over there. But you see, it is working, this idea, because it's clear to go with humans to Mars is really a big challenge, and we cannot do it soon. And if you have a vision, this is nice, But if the vision is so far away that you cannot realize it, then you are losing the inspiration. So a vision should be reachable. George Bush, I think, he said within 10 years or something like that, he wanted to go to Mars with astronauts. And this was, I mean, John F. Kennedy was already very visionary. But this was, the moon was simpler to reach even at that time, and it was very dangerous than Mars. And you know, if we have, I don't know whether you know the movie Interstellar, but this is always my example for the question where to put settlements. This doesn't work. I hope this works. Yeah, this works. The question, you know this, huh? The question of the shortest way to go from this location to this location, the fastest one, so people believe it's just a straight line. As long as it's just a straight line, we cannot reach the next habitable planet, because, for instance, TRAPPIST-1, it's about 39 light years away. So even if we go close to speed of light, it takes 39 years one travel, and therefore the idea is, if we find a solution like this, it's much faster. And this is the question, whether it exists or not. So therefore, for interstellar travels, I think this movie is really excellent, and therefore I believe humans will go away from this solar system if they are smart enough to maintain Earth for a long time. This is the first question. Are we really ready to really let our nice spacecraft Earth survive? Many people believe the most important question is to look for intelligent life in the universe, and I say let's first look for intelligent life on Earth. I mean, just consider an alien would fly towards the Earth and has a capability to see us and to hear us, all languages, and he is seeing what is happening on Earth. Looks World War II, World War I, now some crisis here, some crisis there, some words of atomic bomb and all of this. Are we really sure that coming from far away, he or she or it, we don't know, can immediately recognize who are the good ones and who are the bad ones? I doubt. And this is something we should consider, and that would mean for me that we have to change our mind on Earth very dramatically in order to secure the Earth for a long period. And then, if we do that, then the day will be there when we travel even to a next planet where one can live. Okay, in about 3 billion years we have to do it anyhow, because the Earth becomes too hot through the sun. So, but we have some time for that.
The Moon Village is that first step?
The Moon Village is the first step to develop technologies also to go beyond, and another very important step for international collaboration. So the International Space Station is a very good example of international collaboration. Right now there are the Europeans, the Japanese, the Canadians, and the Russians and the Americans. And also there are always some crises, also right now on Earth. It is working, and I'm really feeling touched when I'm at the launch site in Baikonur and see a European, an American, and a Russian astronaut and cosmonaut in the tiny Soyuz capsule peacefully flying to the launch to the International Space Station. And this spirit should be enhanced, because the space station is limited to the nationalities of the astronauts coming. And therefore, as I said earlier, on the moon we would have only restrictions where really needed because of infrastructure, of not polluting the moon, blah, 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 all of this. And then it can be something also to work for unification on Earth, because we need some things to bridge earthly crisis. Isolation is not really a possibility for the future. It's not a solution. Isolation is not a solution. Okay, further questions? If not, I thank you, and I will welcome you then on the moon. And by the way, tomorrow we have a jam session. I don't know whether you know what a jam session is. It comes from the music. Huh? So you have the normal concerts where you have a conductor and you have a composer, and then the conductor is making out of the composer a nice music piece. We are doing something like you know from jazz, a jam session. That means all together, play together, and at the end we have also some very specific, nice piece of music. And this is tomorrow at what time? I don't know. 1:45. Hall C. Okay, thank you.